Hello students, today we are going to start our same chapter of accountancy, class 11th, and the chapter name is basic accounting terms. So students, we will continue our same topic, that is basic accounting terms. Now, the next basic accounting term is expense. Expense means the cost incurred for producing and selling the goods and services. For example, if we make some product like perfume, so the cost involved for producing the perfume or the cost involved for selling the perfume, that is considered as expense. So here some expenses are given, that cost of goods sold, amount paid for rent, commission, salary, advertisement, decline in the value of assets, all are considered in expense. The next term is income. Income is different from revenue. So, first of all, we will have to know what is revenue. If we produce some goods and we sold that goods, so after selling, we receive some amount. That amount is called revenue. So here two terms are there. For selling the goods, we have to manufacture a good, that is expense, and after that we have to sell that goods, that is treated as revenue. And the difference between revenue and expense is called income. For example, suppose if we are manufacturing a pen, our cost price of manufacturing the pen is rupees 10. Then we sold the pen on rupees 15. So the cost price is considered as expense and the selling price is considered as revenue, and the difference between cost price and selling price is considered as income. So here one more example is given, that the goods costing rupees 4 lakh and sold at 5 lakh. So what is the income? Income is equal to revenue minus expense. So what is our revenue? That is 5 lakh. And what is our expense? That is 4 lakh. The difference between revenue minus expense is called income. So that is 1 lakh. The next accounting term is profit. Profit means difference between total revenue and total expense. If we consider a particular item, that is called income. But if we consider all the items, that is considered as profit. So, difference between the cost and sale of one pen is called income. But the difference between overall cost and overall revenue of total pen, that is considered as profit. The next term is gain. Gain is basically different from profit. So what is the ultimate difference between profit and gain? The difference between revenue and expense is profit, but sometime we sold capital nature goods like sale of fixed assets, sale of machinery. So that is treated as gain. Pen is over regular basis expenses, but selling of furniture is not regular basis. For example, if we have a land of rupees 50 lakh. We sold the land at 60 lakh. So, selling and purchasing of land is not a regular basis deal. So, the difference between the cost price and the sale price of land is considered as gain. So, here the important term is that if we are dealing regular nature goods, that is considered as income. But if we are dealing irregular basis goods, that is considered as gain. The next term is loss. When revenue is greater than expense, that is treated as profit. But when expense is greater than revenue, that is treated as loss. For example, if we manufacture a pen of rupees 15, but due to market condition, we have to sold that pen on rupees 10. So that means cost price minus selling price. Here cost price is greater than the selling price. So the difference between expense minus revenue is treated as loss. Here one numerical example is given that if revenue after sale we get 2 lakh rupees and expense is also given, that is 2,40,000. So it means that for producing our goods the cost incurred is rupees 2,40,000 and after selling the goods we receive 2 lakh rupees. It means cost price is less than the selling price. Cost price is greater than the selling price. So the difference between cost price and selling price is considered as loss. The next term is purchase. The term purchase is only used for goods. Goods means the business deals that type of product is considered as goods. For example, if I have clothing business, so cotton, raw material, cloth, all are considered as purchase or goods. In purchase, cash purchase and credit purchase both are included. Purchase return. Sometime when we purchase something from supplier and due to defect we return the goods to the supplier, that is considered as purchase return. For example, if I purchase a pen from the shop, that is considered as purchase. But due to some defects, I return the pen to the shopkeeper. That is considered as purchase return. Same as sales. Sales means transfer of ownership. It means that if I have a good and I sold that good to the another person, it means that right now I am not the owner of the good. The another person is the owner of the good. It means transfer of ownership is called sales. And the sale is only considered for goods. It also includes cash sale as well as credit sale. Sales return. Due to some defect, the person returned the goods to us. That is called sales return. The another name of sales return is return inward. And the another name of purchase return is called return outward. The next term is stock or stock in trade. Stock means goods which are purchased for resale and which are lying unsold at the end of the accounting period. Our accounting period starts from 1st April every year and it ends on 31st March. So, for understanding the concept stock, Let's take an example. Suppose if I purchase some shirts for resale purpose, and after that on 31st March I noticed that 10 shirts are remain unsold. So here I purchased the shirt for resale purpose, that is considered as stock, because that shirt is not purchased for consumption purpose, that is purchased for reselling purpose. So anything that can be purchased for resale purpose and that can remain unsold at the end of the accounting period is considered as stock or stock in trade. The stock may be classified into two types. The first one is opening stock and the second one is closing stock. So, if anything remain unsold this year, so that thing will be sold on next year. So, on first date, that stock is called opening stock. So, closing stock of last year is called opening stock of next year. So here the term opening stock means the value of goods lying unsold at the beginning of the accounting period, and the closing stock means value of goods lying unsold at the end of accounting period. Inventory. In case of manufacturer, the opening and closing inventory may be further classified into four parts. The first one is inventory of raw material. Second one is inventory of work in progress. Third one is inventory of finished goods. And the fourth one is inventory of stock in trade. So, first of all, inventory of raw material. If we want to manufacture furniture and we purchase wood and some tools for manufacturing the furniture, that is considered as inventory of raw material. After that, we started to manufacture the furniture and we make a chair. But the chair is prepared, but till now that chair is not polished. It means that some work is remained on that chair. So that is considered as inventory of work in progress or semi-finished goods. Means that goods is not prepared for sale in the market. So there are two terms. When we purchase goods for manufacturing something, that is inventory of raw material, and when we start manufacturing, some works remain, that is considered as inventory of work in progress. Here, in case of cloth means the value of thread and the unfinished cloth will be inventory of work in progress. Inventory of finished goods. In this part, the goods are prepared or completed for sale but are lying unsold at the end of the accounting period. In simple terms, furniture are prepared or ready for sale, but on 31st March, that furniture is not sold in the market. So that is considered as inventory of finished goods. The next term is inventory of stock in trade. It means that value of goods which are purchased for resale, that is called inventory of stock. Difference between stock and inventory. What is the basic difference between stock and inventory? So, stock means the value of those goods which are purchased for resale purpose and which are lying unsold at the end of the accounting period is called stock. Whereas inventory is a broader term and stock is one of the part of inventory. because the inventory can be further classified into four parts: inventory of raw material, inventory of semi finished goods, inventory of finished goods, and inventory of stock. So the fourth part, inventory of stock, is the part of stock inventory. It means that stock is a small term and inventory is a broad term, and stock is a part of inventory. The next term is trade receivable. Trade receivable means amount receivable on the account of sale of goods and services rendered by the company in the normal course of business. So, in simple terms, if any company provide some goods and services to the customer and the customer paid some amount, that amount is considered as trade receivables. So trade receivables include both debtors plus bill receivables. First of all, debtors. Debtors means any person who purchase over goods on credit basis, that person considered as debtors. Here one example is given. If goods worth rupees 50,000 has been sold to Mohan, it means that we have goods and we sold 50,000 rupees goods to the Mohan on credit basis. And that time Mohan is considered as our debtor. The next term is bill receivable. A bill receivable is the exchange for the person who draws it. It means that sometime we sold the goods to the person and that person is not ready for the payment. So we make a bill on the name of the person and that person received the bill. That is considered as bill receivable. Trade payable. Trade payable is the amount payable on account of goods purchased or services taken in the normal course of business. It means that if we purchase some goods and services from outsiders or from any person, that amount is called trade payable because we have to pay some amount on behalf of the goods. Trade payable includes creditors and bill payables. First of all, creditors. If we purchase goods from a person on credit basis, not cash basis, so that person is considered as creditors. The second term is bill payable. In some cases, we are not prepared for payment, so we want to make a bill. So we request that person, please make a bill on me. That person makes bill. So that bill is considered as bill payable. The next term is goods. Goods means all those things which are purchased for resale purpose, not consumption purpose, is called goods. For example, if we purchase sugar or bread for making the cake, so sugar or bread is considered as goods. Here one example is given. Furniture dealer purchased chairs, tables is termed as goods because the person not purchased the furniture for consumption purpose. That person purchased the furniture for resale purpose. So that is considered as goods. Cost. Cost can be termed as the amount of resources given up in the exchange of some goods and services. For understanding the concept, here one example is given. Cost of machinery will include purchase price, freight and installation. It means that suppose if we purchase a machinery of rupees 2 lakh, the freight charges of rupees 10,000, the installation expense of rupees 10,000. It means that total cost is rupees 2,20,000. After that, we want to sell that product or machinery. So, first of all, we will have to purchase and we will have to expend some expenses. So, the cost including in the purchase and expenses is considered as cost. Voucher. Voucher is a document which provides the authorization to pay on the basis of which the business transactions are first of all recorded in the books of accounts. Suppose if we purchase a bulb, that time the shopkeeper provide a slip that you purchase a bulb at rupees 50. That slip is considered as voucher. The next term is discount. Discount is an allowance offered by the seller of goods out of selling price of the goods or a deduction. It means that if seller provides some deduction on the price, that is considered as discount. Discount is mainly two types. First one is trade discount and the second one is cash discount. So first of all, trade discount. When discount is allowed by a seller to its customer at a fixed percentage, that is considered as trade discount. But cash discount is different from trade discount. Cash discount is only provided to the customer who makes the payment in cash. So, for understanding both the concept, let's take an example. Suppose there are two friends, Ram and Shyam, goes to the market and they purchase two products. Ram purchased the products on credit basis and Shyam purchased the product on cash basis. So the cost price of the product is rupees 100 and the shopkeeper provide 10% discount. So the cost price is rupees 100 and 10% discount, then they get the product at rupees 90. But after that, the shopkeeper says that if you provide cash immediately, that time I also provide further discount. So at the time, Ram agreed and Ram paid amount rupees 90. So the shopkeeper provide the further discount of rupees 10. So that discount, it means 10% of 90, that is 9 rupees. So the cost price for Ram is rupees 81. But the cost price of Shyam of purchasing that goods is rupees 90 because Shyam purchased the goods on credit basis and Ram purchased the goods on cash basis. Rebate. Rebate means some reduction in the value of the goods. So how it is different from discount? Rebate only provided in the case when the goods belongs from poor quality. Many times we are going to market and we saw some defective products are there. That time we are agreed to purchase that defective product but at less price. That is considered as rebate. The next term is goods and service tax. The short form is GST. All indirect taxes combined together and call that GST. The indirect taxes are excise duty, sales tax, VAT, service tax, etc. All indirect taxes combined and merged together and considered a single tax, that is GST. GST is paid at the time of purchase and GST is collected at the time of sale. Now, the next accounting term, that is entry. When a transaction or event is recorded in the books of account is considered as entry. Bad debts. Sometimes we find that many persons are not agree to pay the payment. That amount is considered as bad debts. For example, if we sold goods to the Ram of rupees 10,000, but Ram paid only 8,000 rupees. That time 2,000 rupees is irrecoverable. So that is bad debts. Insolvent. The person who is not in the position to pay the debt is called insolvent. For example, if I take some amount or I take good from any businessman and I am not in the position to pay the payment, so I am insolvent that time. Solvent. If any person in the position of paying the debt, that person is called solvent. Stores. The term store is used when an enterprise is purchase something for the purpose of consumption in the business, not for resale. That is called stores. When any business purchase something for resale purpose is called stock, but when the business purchase something for consumption purpose is called stores. So purchase of machinery, packing materials, lubricants, all are the example of stores. Revenue, we already considered the point revenue. With this point, our chapter is finished, and that is very important chapter for understanding the accounts. So students, with the help of next video, we will discuss the next chapter.